What's going on, guys? It's Unfiltered Pineapple. I'm Platypus, joined here with Dean and Noodles
What's up?
today.
Howdy.
Yeah,
Long
good.
time.
Going over some gaming topics today, although I guess we're mostly going to be covering gripes with AAA games and different things in the industry because shit's not really been right lately. I think we could agree.
Yeah, I blame
Mhm.
I blame money.
Microtransactions.
I don't know
Fuck
why.
you,
It's a
Fortnite.
sneaking suspicion. It has something to do with them Benjis. Anyways, what were you saying? Platypus.
Sorry.
It's all
So, I guess I'll just start from some more recent examples to just kind of gloss over quickly. Like, I've been
set the
pretty fucking
tone.
devastated
Yeah. Okay.
lately because some of my most anticipated titles just turned out to be it was shit. They were shit. Like, just a couple of them. It was a Halo Infinite, just a
Yeah.
massive steaming pile.
No, and
Callisto,
Microsoft just released like most of the Bungie team also in the layoffs.
it's not looking good. Like all the bullshit with Halo, and now like Microsoft is doing these mass layoffs. Like it
Good
really
God.
ain't looking
Yeah.
good for the teeth.
Yeah, I literally cried like how bad Halo Infinite was. Because
you have this new game in your hand, you're playing it, and you're like, not even like tears of
Right.
nostalgia.
Quite literally. But hey, thank God for Game Pass. Otherwise, I would have been out some money.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
Yeah, no, they laid off a bunch of their veteran like campaign and story tellers and stuff, and people that came in to make, I guess, the campaigns and revitalize the series, the franchise, and then they send them out to other projects again. So now it's just like a skeleton team keeping the game PvP active.
The development sounded doomed from the start.
It
Like I
was
know
good,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
they've been doing a lot of contract workers, so just people who will only be working on it for like months at a
Couple
time,
months,
and
and then
others
they're
have
out, and then you have
after
someone coming in with an entire new system that they have to like start learning how it works. And yeah, you could be very specialized with your animations or your game design or whatever your qualifications are, but you're still entering an entirely new environment and system, and they may not even, as a software engineer, they may not even have the same like coding practices or standards that you're used to at other locations. It's Microsoft, they probably go by the general standard, but you don't know until you have access to these systems.
Well, once 343 took over, it hasn't been like the franchise kind of fell down a little bit. Like Halo 5 Guardians, the campaign was ass, but the multiplayer was great. And I kind of feel like Infinite was just just like maybe a 5 to 10% increase of what Halo 5 Guardians was. Other than that, it's nothing special.
Wasn't Guardians design? I may be wrong. I'm not a big Halo follower, but wasn't Guardians the one that was designed with pro players like testing and advising during development, or was that the one before Guardians?
That wouldn't surprise me. So Halo 5 is known for having like the sweatiest multiplayer.
Okay.
It was pretty
Then yeah,
like
because they developed it with pros and streamers during development cycle to get their
Exactly,
input.
yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we'll get this amazing multiplayer experience, but it really fell short in other areas. And even in
Yeah.
the multiplayer aspect, people just didn't like it as much for, I don't know the reason, because I don't play Halo multiplayer. I've heard the stories and what people in not documentaries, but people like, this is what happened.
Exactly.
So that's interesting. They let the community get in during the development, and it flopped. The Guardians.
well,
It went wrong, horribly
yeah,
wrong.
and they misled everyone with the campaign, like the story. They had like some really cool ads. Like the ads were super well done, but they all pretty much hinted at the chief kind of going rogue. Not like he was going to be evil, but he was disobeying orders because he like caught on to something and was like going outside of, I guess, typical boundaries or whatever for a soldier.
Oh, wait.
So
Guardians, I think I remember these trailers. Guardians was where you start playing as non-chief characters, and it's like a pack of 4, and you got to hunt them down. Oh, I remember the ads for that. Yeah, I was like, this should look cool.
Yeah, it looked so cool. all.
Yeah, I was like, this
That's
will be a
not
great
what it was
twist.
at
This
all.
is so unique. Oh, I
It's
remember
Yeah.
that
not what
now.
it was at all.
And I never heard anything after the trailer.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
like the people who made the trailers didn't even fucking know like what the game was actually going to be because
It's
that's
like My
not what
Little
the
Pony's
story
in the
was.
background, and you're just like, wait, what? What? Did we watch the same thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like when Paramount, tried to make a show out of it and literally ignored the whole damn game.
Yeah, they bragged about it. They were like, we didn't
don't
play
need the
any of this
source
shit."
material. Yeah, I remember that. They're like, we just took inspiration from the ideas and just made our own story with it.
Yeah, and you yanked my fucking cock with that shit too. So
Yeah.
Not just your cock.
Yeah, you get to see the Master Chief's cock.
Yeah,
or
there you go. Way to not be subtle about it. Yeah.
exactly.
He's not armored up for a lot of that show, apparently.
This is one time where I agree that a spoiler is necessary to save you.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. And anyone that hasn't watched it by now probably is not going to watch it.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed people weren't going to, but I shouldn't do that for people.
Yeah.
By the way,
Sorry.
Master Chief has sex. Canon.
I mean, on one hand, good for him. I think the big guys it, but like at the same time, I don't think that's why the core group of Halo fans was like, we weren't tuning in to watch John clap cheeks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
well,
after all the shit he's been through, I mean, he needs a little bit of a release.
This is at the beginning of his journey, though. And that's the other thing. He had his helmet off the entire time. Like, other than the first 5 minutes, it was just the dude's face the entire time. Which, as an actor, it's easier to convey emotions and conversation without the helmet on. I think The Mandalorian from Disney does fantastic with keeping the helmet on and still setting the mood and tension and everything. But plenty of movies in Hollywood have learned, like, it's better to not have a mask on if possible. That's why Last of Us, that's out, Joel doesn't have a face mask, because the directors are like, you can't really see the faces and expressions that much, so we have to change the canon of the game to the show a little bit to be like, yeah, it's not spreading through the air at the moment, at least with the first few episodes. They're using other explanations for it I'm not going to spoil it, but that's why he doesn't have a gas mask on him like he does typically in the game.
Yeah,
so I can understand that justification for it, but he never put on the. Again, I didn't watch the series, but I've watched people review it like in depth. That's how I get around it because I'm not paying for it. And he just apparently never had his mask on like after that point, like after the first episode. I was like,
exactly.
How can you do that with an iconic? That's like having Mickey Mouse and having wear a ball cap on the whole time. You don't see his ears. Like,
it's just weird. Like that, it's a no-no with that character. Like, we've gone all this time without seeing his face. Now I have to watch him like make his O face,
blow his nose. Yeah, like
yeah,
make his O face.
Good God Almighty!
You see his O face, and then in the middle of combat, you see it again for a brief second. You're like, oh shit, he's really into this. You see what he did to that tank? Holy shit. That's illegal.
Exactly.
But yeah, you said AAA games in general, not just Halo.
Yeah.
You want more examples or expand off it a little bit more?
I will give one myself.
Do it.
And it will be Battlefield 2042.
Oh,
yes,
God.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah. Coming from a guy who put literal fucking hours in the goddamn Battlefield 5, who was a sniper god in that movie.
You basically developed it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm part of the community. I gotta get involved with the game. But anyways, no, yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, I was a heavy Battlefield 5 player, and I put literal hours into it. So when I heard that 2042 was going to be announced, I was like, hey, if this is like Battlefield 5's like graphics and gameplay along with the Battlefield 4 theme, man, that's going to be a hell of a freaking game. And I remember I was so hyped, I literally bought the $120 version of it because I am that hardcore into Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
And I remember when the game just dropped, it was just a buggy mess. I mean, like, it was almost to the point where it was unplayable on my Series X. I literally refunded it after 2 days because I just could not. I couldn't get into it. But I'll speak on shooters in general. You know, I think everyone's going with the whole Fortnite thing with having a battle pass and having to get microtransactions, you know, to
On a
basically get
AAA game, keeping it in early access or beta access for years and never actually developing it. Because
yeah, and
then
to
that
get
means
like
people have to pay for final product.
yeah, and I remember back in the good old OG days, like Call of Duty, for example, like where you had to like literally be good to get these skins, and now you have to pay like $20 just to get it. And I believe Fortnite kind of ruined first person shooter or shooters in general because everyone's copying that battle pass system now.
Um, I got two quick comments on that. One, I like the original Fortnite, what it was being developed to do, which was a tower defense game against like against waves of zombies. Holy crap! I can't believe I messed that up. Zombies of waves.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Originally, it
with
was
you.
like that. It was a tower defense thing. That's why the whole building concept was there. You build your base, and then the waves and tornadoes come at you, and you got to defend it on all around. That kind of thing. I
Right.
enjoyed that. That's what they were actually trying to sell. Then they're like, oh, let's get on this PUBG Battle Royale thing, and they made the Battle Royale really quick because they had the engine for it, and then it blew up.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I liked Fortnite before the seasons and the past came out, even with the battle royale mode too.
Yeah,
I thought that was more, it was more fun, I guess.
it was a bit more not maybe definitely cartoony, but it was a bit more refined, even though it wasn't like PUBG, like realistic and a little bit edgy, not edgy, rough. To simulate like a real scenario, it was like, yeah, it's vibrant, it's bright, but the physics work, things are consistent. You know,
Right, and
the game functions fine.
then they just added so much like DLC and like other like parts of the game to where I believe it ruined it.
Yeah, they had to introduce a mode to get rid of buildings so people can just play Battle Royale without having a skyscraper built in half a second.
Exactly.
Which I think is the stupidest thing, and the people that do that professionally are going to argue back like, no, it's a skill. I'm like, I don't think it's a skill when you have 17 key bindings to replicate this. Just to be like, yeah, someone shoots one shot your way, it lands at your feet, and immediately you got the Eiffel Tower up there. Like, where are they? Where are they? And just hiding in
Right.
it. That doesn't
Right.
look like good gameplay. That just doesn't look fun even for the pros. Like, what, you just build and then you sit there and you just wait for them to die first.
Exactly.
Not to stay on the topic of Fortnite, but Platypus. Are you thinking exclusively like PvP games or even like campaign solo games?
Well, no, it's sadly it's campaign solo games too, because like my most anticipated game in years also turned out to be pretty disappointing, which was the Callisto Protocol.
Really?
And part of why
You think that's disappointing? I'm watching some
oh yeah,
YouTubers playing it currently, so I'm curious about this because I'm enjoying the story and watching them play, but I'm not playing it, so I'm actually interested in why you are against it.
Yeah, I've
well,
heard
I guess
stories about it. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I've heard stories about it too, and yeah, it kind of just drew me away from it. Not gonna lie.
yeah, I mean, I guess good things first. Like visually, that game is incredible. Like it
Yeah.
is almost like watching a movie. It looks phenomenal, and the sound design is phenomenal. But beyond that, it's like really hard to defend, and part of that comes from the fact that it's some of the same people that made one of my all-time favorite games, which is Dead Space. And so they had like that pedigree going into this, but it still just fell super short. Like one of the biggest things is that I couldn't even fucking run it on my PC, which actually has like some pretty damn good specs. I mean, all that to say, there's no reason why I should have loaded this game and then it just like it was unplayable. It looked like a shitty fucking slideshow. Like I
Yeah,
actually had to go on to Reddit and find a page for this game and then look up fixes, and I had to find like this block of code that I could paste into the engine.ini file, and that is what I had to do just to get it to like a kind of acceptable point. And
Haven't
like
they released patches or bugs to fix that stuff after the initial launch, like in the first week?
yeah, yeah, and it's mostly fine now. But
Okay.
then I guess that brings me to the other problem where it's just like honestly, it's not really scary.
These games
I
are
know
like
that's
being released
Yeah,
unfinished.
and
Or
isn't the
yeah.
campaign like 7 or 8 hours or something like that?
Yeah, you can complete it pretty quickly. It just there are like so many little things where it's like the just like the gameplay design, the level design, like it all needed more work. It almost feels more like a tech demo of like something that could have been much better. Because there's like
Right.
so much potential, but they just dropped the ball on so many things. Like the dodging mechanics are weird. Like it's not even that it's hard, but I guess it's part of the problem. It's just like no matter if it's like a mini boss or a regular character, if you just hold to the side, then you'll dodge it. Then you just have to hold to the other side and you'll dodge it.
yeah,
So that
because
already takes away like a lot of the, I guess, edge.
or
Like, oh shit, I die.
the
It
response
just
time, the reaction time. You have to like actually like, oh, I gotta know how this enemy works. They're either gonna attack once or attacking a 2-shot combo, and you just swipe, and then counter.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it just gets too repetitive. And so between that and just like the layout of the games, it just ended up being like a super sexy walking simulator, kind of like
I'd
the
agree.
Order 1886
I,
is.
I mean, that's kind of one way to put it.
Yeah, and
Hey,
I also went all in on it. Like I pre-ordered it, which is against my rule, and I haven't done that since I pre-ordered Doom Eternal. I have zero regrets about that
Yeah,
purchase, but like this one, I got the game and I got the season pass, and I mean, I guess I didn't take as big of a hit as you did, Noodles, with the premium 2042
$120 package. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
but at
hey,
least
I mean, I got it refunded. Like, I got my money back. I'm good. So I never took a hit.
true. I took the hit. Like I was already in too deep. I paid for this goddamn game. I looked forward to it for years. I'm just gonna finish it out and hope that like the patches and the season pass make it better. But like, holy
Yeah.
shit, that was just one of the biggest gaming disappointments in a long time. Like, and it's
Right.
always like that. It happened with Cyberpunk. It kind of happened with
hmm
Overwatch. I'm just fucking tired of it. Like everything
Uh,
releases like incomplete. It won't run,
And
or it's
then
just got all these weird
and
yeah.
then in the first week or two of after launch, they come out with a bunch of patches that seem to make it in a better condition that they could have just waited an extra week or two, but no, they have corporal deadlines to be like, oh,
Yeah.
it's got to come out this day. It's like, give us another week or two, we can make it not a slideshow.
Yeah. It's like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like,
That game is ugly. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
yeah. I mean, I was kind of hyped for the concept because I beat Legends Arceus, and I mean, all of my Pokemon are basically level 100, if not close to it. So I was kind of hyped that this is going to be more interactive, more open, world with the same like kind of concept of Legends Arceus. And then I literally nothing but like YouTube videos because I always like to look at YouTube videos before I buy a game. And I mean, I'm just seeing like frame rates of like like under 30, like 15, like 10 sometimes of like very like cinematic like scenes, and I'm just like, why? Like,
There was a YouTuber. He's like, 10% of this game is lag. I don't remember exactly. He was either playing for like 6 or 16 hours, and the in-game time was only recorded like 4.5 or 14.5 hours. So, like
Oh,
10% of the game was lag. He's like, that's how slow it was running. He's like,
yeah, because I remember there was one scene where it was like they were in a classroom or something, and I kid you not, like every single like person or object in that game was just the frame rate just dropped super horribly. I'm surprised the Switch didn't even crash. Like that's how bad it was.
it's overheating like a hot pocket.
Literally, you just see like the red on the bottom of the Switch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, okay, I understand that. These games are being released early. Obviously we don't. I don't think any of us are blaming the developers, right?
It depends on the game and the
Well,
situation.
no, the developers making the game as opposed to like the people trying to release it, the management, the
Well,
investors.
Well, yeah, it depends. So, like with 343, it's like I kind of blame them just because it's been like a pattern.
Okay, so
yeah,
yeah, so that's okay, yeah.
Part of it though is like management and like direction from up on high, but it's also just like clearly what they have going on just doesn't work.
Is just not they're
yeah.
just not making good quality games or anything. They're just
Then you had the then you had the developers that you're kind of used to that. Like EA, for example, they always release incomplete stuff, and you have to spend like an extra $60 for the DLC and all that stuff. So
Oh, you mentioned Dead Space. I know they just had Dead Space remake come out.
yes,
Is that also buggy and stuff, or you don't know?
no, from what
Actually,
I've heard personally that it's actually been like great, and I plan on buying it, but
Okay.
I haven't bought it yet because child and everything.
Yeah.
well,
A little cup of noodles.
uh,
Exactly. Yep.
no, I can attest to that. I mean, I went ahead and got it. I mean, they're remaking one of my favorite games that had to do it, but they like this is one of those rare occasions where everyone was just uncomfortably like, EA, they did it. I mean, it's like
they
a new
they
studio.
they did what they were supposed to. Holy crap!
Yeah,
They got
EA
their
Motive.
money.
But yeah, it's like I mean, I haven't said that shit since Fallen Order came out, but
Yeah.
yeah, they like it's really well done. It's pretty much like how a remake is supposed to be done. Like they didn't
Hmm.
really change much, but they made it look and feel like so much better. I mean, they pretty much just brought it into 2022
Yeah,
and then
they
added
gave the
like some
protagonist a
minor
voice.
tweaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a quality product. I mean, I guess my minor complaint is that on my machine, like when you enter a new room or whatever, it kind of slows down a bit for like
Yeah.
compiling shaders or whatever. But that's like it. I mean, and it's still playable. So
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I'm not. I have never played the game, and I'm only watching YouTubers play the game. So I'm like, it's my first experience. I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty cool. I can see why it was definitely a big thing. You know, I don't even know when the game came out, like 10 plus
like
years ago, early
2008,
2000s. Like,
2008, I think.
yeah. Oh, not early 2000s. Okay. Well, we're in the 2020s now, so early 2000s. My head's like, yeah, anything before 2010. Um,
Exactly.
uh, we're getting old. Um, I'm glad to hear that that's good then. But yes, I understand your complaint about games coming out underdeveloped, not even overhyped, because that's a community just reacting to what's being marketed, or oversold. I don't even know what the term is. Like they're not giving what they're promising, or selling, or trying to advertise. I don't know.
They're under
Hmm.
delivering, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
under
just
delivering with, and then that is even even with the under delivered product, it's poor quality, like Cyberpunk 2077.
yeah, that's probably the best example of that.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God. Yeah, I haven't even played the Series X version because I bought the Xbox One version a long time ago, and I
Oh,
remember they gave the free upgrades,
Mm-hmm.
for the newer consoles, but I have not yet wasted my time on that yet.
well, actually, so I've heard that it's like good now. Like I'm not okay with the fact that they just released a half-baked pile of shit, but after they released Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I highly recommend anybody go and watch that, it kind
Yeah.
of renewed interest in the game. And when people jump back on, they're like, "Holy shit, this works now and it's fun." So, all that to say, it seems like they at least worked out all the kinks. I don't appreciate that they like launched it in the state that it did, but if you wanted to play it now, it should probably be fine.
Yeah, they forced it out way too early.
Yeah, and it's more on the community than it was on the developers, I would say, because they wanted that game like so soon. They kept like demanding it, and they were like, "All right, here you go,"
What
and
was
then
that?
bam.
What was the company, the development team or whatever? Did they keep moving their goalpost forward, or were they just like keeping it the same and everyone was just like, oh, it's got to come out at this time?
Well, they
Well,
kept.
Was the company actually like oh, instead of October, we'll release it a month early in September? Were they adjusting to the community hype, or because I didn't follow the
Well,
game development?
well,
I think
I think most of it is that it was actually getting pushed back a little bit to try and fine tune all that stuff.
Oh, okay, well then yeah,
And
they were trying that, but
yeah, and then of course the toxic community at the time they just were like, no, we want, like, basically they just kept pressuring them, and it got to the point where they got what they deserved.
gotcha.
I mean,
I get the angle of it too, but then at the same time, it's like what was in there was not really what was advertised on the demos and everything, or the demos would just be shown on like ultra high end PCs, so it's not really like the experience
Realistic.
wasn't accessible to the general public. It's like I don't like.
And then they would
I,
also act surprised with some very obvious bugs that everyone was experiencing. They're like, oh,
Mhm.
we'll patch this up in a week or two. We'll look into it. Like,
Right.
that's not.
anyone that opens up a new game is experiencing this. What do you mean we'll look into it? For the Overwatch 2, though, as an Overwatch player since launch, I understand the community disappointment, not understanding it. I've gone through that's one of the few games where I've followed the development cycle of Overwatch 2, and technically it's an early access. It's not released until the PvE content comes out, so technically Overwatch 2 is not officially out yet, if that makes sense. A lot of bad decisions, old school mindsets of how to develop games versus modern day gaming of battle passing and income. Their original game just stopped making money because of the loot box stuff and everything.
Mhm.
And they were really trying to redesign the sequel. And what they were trying to do was obviously PvP, but also create a campaign for the story and the lore and the world. Where the campaign, it wasn't supposed to be a campaign. It was supposed to be a something that you could just do for years repeatedly and always have a different experience. They're developing skill trees for every character, which like has 30 different branches, which is basically like a dozen new characters for each kit. So if you got a basic Reinhardt that swings hammers and shields, by the time you finish that skill tree, you could have gone through like 4 different what would be new characters in a MOBA game. Like League of Legends would have just made 4 new characters, and they're developing that for the PvE stuff. This adaptable, redesigned campaign mode where you can keep doing it with different characters, different perspectives, different angles, all that stuff. That's what they were trying to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, time was running short. They stopped putting any effort into Overwatch 1 because they were full force, full steam on Overwatch 2. Blizzard was pulling money and manpower aside to deal with other stuff, as well as then their scandals happened. And then so what we see nowadays for Overwatch 2 is basically 1 year of work. It's not like 3 or 4 years when they announced Overwatch 2. It's literally just 1 year of work. If they're like, we're going to turn this into the 5v5 like we promised, and we're going to grind it out for the next year, and then we're going to get back into supporting a live action game and then finishing up the PvE stuff, which is expected to come out later in 2023. But again, unless you've followed the life cycle, you don't know, like, they had all these big plans, and you can watch the trailers and introductions of how their PvE stuff was introduced years ago. Like, you can see their ambitions for the PvE, but then they fell short because they're, like, trying to complete this one game that has both aspects of it, and they're completely not supporting their main game that's live right now that is supposed to be making money. And they just kind of stopped working on it entirely, so the game started dying. And they're like, we got to release something, so we're going to decouple the final package of PvP and PvE. We're going to get PvP back out. We're going to get people in the game. We're going to, introduce new stuff every few months, battle pass, skins, etc. Keep the money flowing, keep the community alive, and then we're going to start releasing the campaign sometime later in 2023. So they had to make big changes and decisions like that just to release a game and get Overwatch 2 back in the community, in the gaming world, for the casual player. And everyone's like, well, this isn't anything special. Of course it's not. I agree. It's nothing special. Like, it's better than what it used to be. But these,
Mm-hmm.
like, and obviously I'm not part of the team, but these were decisions where unless you're following it from start to finish, you don't really see where the trend starts going downhill or where things get separated. So what Overwatch 2 is now, I know it's a, because we've played a little bit Platypus. I know it seems like, oh, it's not that much different or overhyped a bit. It is. It's a big change considering they did it all in less than 1 year. Going from 6v6 to 5v5 and introducing 3 new characters and trying to balancing stuff. 3 new maps, etc. That's actually impressive, even compared to Overwatch 1 standards when they were doing constant updates every couple weeks when it first launched. So I know specifically for that game, the cycle, and it was supposed to be more, but real life and old ways of doing things can't keep up with modern day, etc. A bunch of issues. For the other
Yeah.
games though, because I constantly hear the news, like you said, with like Cyberpunk and everything, they just get released buggy. Overwatch 2 luckily just took the servers of Overwatch 1, so it had a complete game. It has some bugs, but that happens when you introduce any new character or map. So that wasn't really experience with that. People are just disappointed it felt like Overwatch 1 with one less character. That's fine. It's not like people paid $60-$80 to do it. It's a free-to-play game. Going back on topic, or I'm going to change the topic a little bit. Do you think it's a bigger issue because people are paying for a full game that's not being released, or is it a big issue even for free-to-play games with the battle passes? I know Noodles was complaining about like Fortnite.
I mean, I think it's a problem either way.
Okay.
It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely more of a sensitive or sore subject when you shell out actual money, but like, I mean, all right, I need to make a smart ass comment about Overwatch because it's like that is free, that's cool, that's my favorite price. But just like imagine waiting in line to get into another fucking line. Like never have I
Oh,
ever
the queuing.
played
Yeah, the
anything.
queuing of the first couple days. Yeah, I
There is
forgot
a
about that.
queue to get into a fucking queue.
they
What
had
the shit
they
it
had
is?
like they had like 25 plus million people trying to log in on the launch day. Their servers were not ready for that.
And it's funny because I kind of so I don't play Overwatch as much. I have the game downloaded, but I haven't really played it yet. I was actually waiting to hit one of you guys up to play it one day, so that way I can maybe get into it. But
I'll
it's
play with you.
I
I'll show you the
yeah.
ropes. I'll show you how to
But I
troll.
had a but I had a similar exact issue when I bought Modern Warfare 2 because literally you would start the game and literally the servers were so fucked at the damn time because everyone was trying to log into the game at midnight, which I was one of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a similar thing. Like it literally had a queue just to load into the online servers, just so that way you could possibly find another game.
Then it would go through logging you in and making sure that the servers could support the players that were on there. Yeah. I forget
It,
the details. They explained in a blog post the day and after the next couple days after, like why they looked like there were 2 queues and everything, which made sense. And honestly, because we had no new content for like 2 years, I was having a blast with the servers crashing. I was like, oh, this sucks. I was queuing up with
yeah.
Sean and some other people. We eventually got on Europe for like without interruption. Americans were still messed up, but we were just playing in Europe for like a couple hours. Occasionally, someone would get dropped and they would just jump back in line and wait. But I thought it was funny. All the crashes and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is a PR nightmare, but this is funny to me. I'm enjoying this. Watching everyone just like, oh, I can't get in the game. I'm like, yeah, but when you get in, everyone's like, yeah, I'm fucking in. They don't even care if you're losing. You're like, I'm in the game. When am I getting booted? I'm like, this is funny. Everyone's like
Right.
panicking, like, oh, let's see if we get to the end of the match before I get kicked. Do I get the win? And then people are trying to play competitive in this game. I launch like oh, I hope I don't get booted from my 20-30 minute competitive queue or game that I'm playing and get kicked out at overtime and then I get an automatic loss. Why?
Right.
I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it. It's fine now. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. It it's funny like because I guess I'll kind of continue the rant a little bit about AAA gaming. I guess I'll add another one that I just said, Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that Modern Warfare 2 is like the worst Call of Duty ever, because it's not. There is far worse Call of Duties, but this just feels like in some areas it's better than the first one that came out in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's other areas where they just made questionable decisions.
You mean like
And
in the game mechanics or
like
the
playlist mechanics, all that.
okay.
And I'll start with the first one is that on well in the next 2 weeks finally hardcore is coming back to Call of Duty, because every single Call of Duty I've played, I've always played hardcore.
Yeah.
I cannot play regular core because, and I understand it's an arcade shooting game,
Yeah.
but it just feels super arcade when you play core, because I could literally have a M4 assault rifle and I could empty a whole entire clip in someone and he won't die, but he can one shot me in the head with a pistol. And it pisses me off every time. So when I play hardcore, it makes it more it makes it more real. It makes it a little bit more realistic, I
You
guess.
accept the fact that you still died with a one pistol shot?
Oh, I can't tell you how many fucking times that happened to me.
You just got John Wicked.
Literally John Wick, or
Yeah, that's a good paid experience right there. Yes, let me be the John Wick subject.
Or you have the sweats with the riot shields and the combat knives, and they just run after you and just knife you.
I mean, someone's got to be the test dummy. You got to find out if it works or not.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, at least with hardcore, it feels a little bit more realistic. I mean, they actually die quicker with less bullets, kind of almost making it realistic. But when the game launched, for the first time ever in Call of Duty, history, when it comes to online, it had no hardcore, and people like myself were just like, "What the fuck? Why are you not releasing that shit?" So then I think it was a month after they came out with a tier 1 playlist, which is kind of similar to hardcore, except that it combined it with another mode, realism, which means you have no heads up display or anything. You have no hit markers. You just have to know when you kill someone.
Yeah.
You just got to know. And
I mean that's definitely interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. In some aspects I do like it, but then like the biggest problem is that if a teammate kills you, you can't tell if a teammate kills you or not, because you have no heads up display of like a kill feed or anything. It just,
you don't get to replay your death. Yeah.
Right. So finally, after months, they're coming out with hardcore in the next couple of weeks. Thank God. But they now there's some stuff in this game that they added that I personally really like. Like, for example, you can tune your actual attachments, so you could actually like make it to where like you want your sight to be a little bit farther, a little bit closer, or you can adjust the grip where you can make it like like where you can aim faster, or you can aim more steady. I mean, I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, they didn't add stuff in 2018 that made it good. For example, you can't customize your red dot like you be able to, like you used to, and it just sucks. I'm just like, what the fuck? So, I mean, like I said, it's not a terrible game, but it could be better. So, I mean, I will put it in that category.
They released it too early. Do you think you know why? You think they just had to commit to deadlines, or they're like, we got everything we wanted. We'll do extra stuff later?
I don't think they released it too early, because they released it usually when every Call of Duty comes out.
So a consistent timeline, yeah.
My problem is they didn't come out with stuff that should have been in the game already compared to its predecessors. Like the extra game modes, the hardcore.
Were they making it the engine or something from scratch? Wasn't that between console generations?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
It looks the same as 2018's engine, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same, except the only difference from 2018 is that you're running 120 FPS now, because you couldn't do it in the older game. But other than that, that's really it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure about that release date. So I was like, The Call of Duties always escape me when they're released because there's so many, and I'm like, so if it was between
Yeah,
consoles, I would have been like, well, give them some slack there. But yeah, no, I don't know what. Then I can't explain that,
yeah. I mean,
especially since they
and
can carry over assets. So
it, exactly, because usually with Call of Duty, now I'm not like a super Call of Duty like hardcore like try hard or anything,
yeah,
but when Modern Warfare or like the World War II like type of Call of Duty games come out, then I get into it. Except for Vanguard, I didn't get into Vanguard, but those are usually the only type of Call of Duties I really play.
mm-hmm.
You know, I,
I
I, I, I wasn't into Advanced Warfare. I wasn't into Ghost. And any of that stuff. So,
Yeah, that makes
and I'm
sense.
sorry.
I like Call of Duty mostly for the campaign. I guess I'm the weird one that doesn't like the PvP online. I
I
don't.
Oh, I
like
love the
Modern
campaign.
Warfare campaigns.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I've had people tell me you play that. I play it for that. Like they only play online. I was like,
no, when it
I'm
comes
here
to
for the
campaign,
story. I paid for a game. I paid for the story. I will go through the campaign and just pistol whip everyone just as a
yeah,
challenge.
no,
Like
like,
I'm not trying to outdo anyone with a. If I play online, I'm the troll that does grenade launchers, and I'm really good with grenade launchers. Um, I'm not. I don't have the aim or the patience to play PvP online with some of these. Like, I've seen clips. I'm like, I don't have. I have a life.
You'd be the
Um,
guy that quits super fast in like less than half a second.
oh yeah, MLG quit the game.
oh my, yeah. Was that? No, that was Noodles that showed me that. That dude that just speed runs quitting.
Yeah, I I would
They-
love to have that talent. Not gonna
the
lie.
frame that a kill like someone came up and stabbed him. The frame that happened, he's already out of the game. Just like hotkeyed it. Oh my god, that was
Like
hysterical.
it's admirable. Like damn.
That takes skill. Not gonna lie. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, this early release stuff. I agree. It's not a popular trend, and unfortunately, they follow the money. They don't listen to the community sentiment. So if people keep paying for this stuff, obviously businesses are like, well, we can keep doing it. It's the
Yeah,
whole thing for cosmetics and battle passes. Like, oh, if people are paying for it, we're gonna keep making it. We're gonna keep selling it. It's consistent. So the issue is getting people to not pay for the skins and to not pay for the battle passes, because then people are like, we're losing money. What do we do? We got to listen to the community. What do they want? If
yeah. Why the hell do you think GTA 5's been running since like 2013?
exactly, I'm okay personally if people want to pay for cosmetics. It's like paying for decorations around the house, all that stuff. Obviously, no one likes pay to play, play to win. Like EA's Darth Vader Battlefront 2 shit they had going on, buggy game, and you had to pay to play any of the characters. They've tried to release a full game for like $60, and then you still had to spend money to unlock characters. Not even as like DLC, just to play. Or you could spend like 2,000 hours.
that sounds like that Diablo game that released on mobile, and it's
Yep.
like if you actually want to make progress, you can spend like $10,000 or something on the store.
Yeah, because it's like it's not entirely loot boxes RNG, but it's because they can't do that in like EU and stuff, but they got around it somehow where you still have to like RNG fest your way to unlock something, because
Yeah,
that kind of
Dude,
stuff. Um,
what happened? Like
it
I'm
still
just
exists.
lost.
It still exists.
You,
The game still exists as is, pretty
no,
much.
I mean just like in
Oh,
general.
like
Like
why? How
I
did we
just
get
kind of
here?
yeah, like I
How
just
did
kind
we
of
get here?
figured yeah, it's
yeah,
like it's 2023, like we have the technology,
We
like
have
news
technology.
are like thick with three C's. Like we've
Yeah.
got pretty powerful tech and the capabilities to make beautiful shit, and then it just ends up being a goddamn
I
pile of
I
fuck.
think it's a mixture of trying to one up standards constantly, and do something new, do something better, and then they're trying to do it on smaller deadlines, or management's trying to do whatever they can to save money, like constantly buying contractors, temp contractors to come in and out and replace people to do work. It's like, oh well, this guy will do it cheaper for $500 for a couple months. They won't
yeah,
renew his I think it's a mix of things. I think it mostly comes down to management and following the money. Because a lot of
mm,
developers are passionate about the games. Like a lot of the Bungie people, or Halo or Call of Duty people, they're big fans of the franchise of developers. They want to make a good game. They're not just there to do it. They're like, yeah, I play this a lot myself.
Yeah, and then I think the other problem too is that people are trying to change so much to get casual gamers who normally don't play those franchises to get them into it, and it pisses off the veterans because they're not used to it
Because
either.
they're appealing to the casuals who will pay $10, $20, $50 a month to play their game when they release something new for the month or for the season every few months. And so
Right.
the casual gamer the trend is like the casual gamers are alternating between several different games every month or couple months because it's like, oh, this game just released a new character. We'll play this for a few weeks, and then we go to this game. Fortnite just released this new game mode or something, and then we'll go to Overwatch. We'll go to Battlefront. We'll do all this stuff because everything's in a free-to-play Battle Pass cycle where it's now temporal. It's now seasonal. Like,
Yeah.
oh, now you can go to this game. So they're working on. That's where they're making their money. Is these people spending their free time on these games constantly like, oh, let me get this battle pass so that I don't have to grind it out, or let me buy these cosmetics because I'm not going to be playing this game for 3 months straight to unlock it.
Yeah.
Um,
Right, and it's just
and these people are not going to be the ones grinding it every day to face the bugs, face these issues that you would get when you grind it for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, like some people do or whatever. So the casual gamers probably just aren't that caring about it, so it's probably lower on the list of priorities. This is my assumption, my conspiracy of why games are like this nowadays. Single player campaign games, that shouldn't be allowed. Period. Short and simple. They're paying for a full product. It should be a full product. That like Nintendo for their new Samus game, not Dread, but their Samus 4 or whatever. They're like, they're like, we are completely undoing everything. We're like, we don't like where any of the production is going. We're sorry about this. Disable comments on YouTube. Like, we are scratching everything. We're starting over. We want to make a game we like. We're not going to release something we don't like. That's how you should do
Right.
it. That's how you should do it. Like, it
good.
sucks, but at least you know that they're putting in the right effort. They're like, we
Yeah.
want to release a quality game. We have standards. We're not just putting something out there because, oh, we'll do another one in 2 years. No.
Exactly, and like yeah, and the only I will probably say the only I would say like huge game that has came out that I've actually been in awe and I think is perfect is God of War Ragnarok. That is probably the one game I played to where I said there is nothing wrong with this game, and I still don't know how that didn't win Game of the Year over Elden Ring. That's just me.
I thought it would have, but that's also me.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen that. That looks like a fun game. Yeah, I saw you playing it a little bit too, Noodles. Battle passes, early access games. I know it's an excuse. I don't really agree with them being buggy and stuff. But yeah, I'm very adamant. Like the Callisto project, I'm not playing it. I understand the game mechanics. Some people don't like it. Some people do. Maybe they could introduce modes to make it tougher, or like you could disable that, and actually manually have to dodge and not just hold it. Like a toggle. That'd be a good feature to make it challenging. You actually have to time the swing.
I like part of the problem is that it like they're releasing skins as like a DLC package in like another month or two. They didn't even have New Game Plus at launch. That's a DLC package thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's weird. There are just so many things and problems in it where it's just like, why is it this way?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's crazy is too is that there's a few games that are coming out this year and I'm just like, is it just gonna be the same exact shit?
Everyone's a
Or are
little
they
bit trauma
actually
shocked. They're like, should we be excited or should we just wait and not do anything on
right?
day one?
Like Starfield, for example. Like I'm so super excited for this game, but just having this conversation and going on this rant, I'm just like, well, is this gonna fall into the same fucking trap?
Hey, just take Kratos' advice to his son. Just lower your expectations, and then you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, that's
Boy.
true. That's true.
Right.
Maybe that's why I'm like looking to justify why things are the way they are. I'm like, it is because of this and that. I don't blame people. Expectations have already been ruined.
Yeah.
It's like being stood up on a date for the 5th time by the same person and be like, maybe they'll show up to Olive Garden or maybe I'll be eating alone again.
Unlimited soup and salad for one. Nice.
Yeah, that's why you go there. In case they flop, you still got your money's worth.
Dude,
Right.
the Starfield thing reminds me that Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever has been in development for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the last one on the PS4? Yeah.
No. Didn't it come out on the 360 and PS3?
Yeah, then they
Skyrim?
re-released it on the one and PS4, and then they came out with some like online game or whatever.
Oh, I'm thinking the
But
online one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Forget what I said.
but yeah, no, and I swear, yeah, it's just like it. Well, if we're going on that same subject, GTA 5 as well. Well, that has a whole different reason though, because people are still milking the fuck out of GTA 5. I feel like we're gonna be fucking 50 years old, and then finally they're gonna release it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see like that gameplay that I think that was something that the developers didn't want people to see. Actually, yeah, I think I remember the
No,
story
yeah, that
now.
was leaked.
Yeah, it
Someone
was.
leaked gameplay and then they got the CIS or CIA. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they got arrested.
And
It
Jesus
was like
Christ, holy shit, it's serious.
yeah, all for some fucking 16-year-old kid.
CIA Special Agent Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Got him on speed dial.
Was he have fucking pistols with bullets of holy water and that shit? Like, what the fuck?
There you go. I'm pretty sure that's a Netflix movie somewhere.
I'm thinking of that Family Guy skit where
Oh yeah.
like Jesus dolphin diving, like dual wielding pistols and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
only he who casts the first stone may kick some ass or something like that.
Yeah, and then fucking Chris Tucker right beside him.
Yo.
But yeah, then like, you know, and we were talking about like games that hopefully don't fall into the trap, and yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is there too, Legend of Zelda.
I'm excited for that.
I-
Honestly, Nintendo, I don't want to jinx anything. They're not known for releasing things prematurely. Yeah, their networking, their online services are dog shit. Doesn't make sense these days, but you know, the games they actually release.
Just hoping it doesn't fall into the frame rate like trap the same way Pokemon did.
Yeah, if that's
That's
yeah, we'll see about that. But I mean, they're using the same engine as Breath of the Wild. You know, they've already developed the world and the physics engines and stuff. So
yeah.
they're not making a whole new game from scratch like Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I don't think the current Switch could handle like a brand new Zelda engine, to be honest.
We will see. That is what this game will tell us. And if they are releasing a new console, Switch Plus, Lite, or whatever, you know, right before the launch, you know what the answer is. We'll find out in April.
Right.
Yeah. Did we deviate too far off your initial rant, Platypus?
Nah, this is all irrelevant. It's still all good.
All right, you got it all. You got it out. Okay.
Oh no, that's not all of it. But
All right. What else did we miss?
I mean, I could go on about like the games that we just kind of briefly talked about. Like, there's still plenty more shit with Callisto, for example,
Yeah.
or like all of the Halos that 343 made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Call of Duty, Battlefield. I can go on too.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of glossed over everything. I'm sure we could spend a lot of time talking about this if we wanted to. But that's like the state of the industry, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
a tirade about gaming nowadays. That makes sense. We can get we'll definitely go back in more depth later.
And the sad part is, I'm still just gonna shut the fuck up and still play.
I spent money on this. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, it's not all bad. Like, Evil West was a lot of fun. You know, Dead Space.
Oh, you talk about Gears of War Redemption 2?
Yeah, it's like if Gears of War and Doom and Red Dead just had like a threesome baby and a little bit of God of War sprinkled in there.
Sprinkled in, watching from the side. Yeah.
You just have one cut screen that's like boy.
That's just the intro. It's just a black screen that says "boy," and then it cuts into the actual opening game.
fucking cowboy with the goddamn gun with the chainsaw and the blades of chaos. I'm fucking hyped. Let's go.
That's terrifying.
And the Doom Slayer suit.
A
Fucking
cowboy
A.
with blades of chaos and a chainsaw. I don't have anything for that.
I don't
Nope.
either. I'm just appreciating the image.
I don't think Thanos can snap that out of existence.
I don't think he has the willpower to snap it out of existence.
He might not even have like a one-liner for that one.
He does. It's called fuck.
Impossible.
Yeah, there you go. I love that one. I love that meme. Impossible. I snapped 3 times.
Oh shit.
I don't know why I think of the meme like say like he did get rid of them, and it's like, what did it cost? Everything. I don't know why that just popped in my head.
Thanos memes are great.
They really are.
They're some of my favorite. I really love the impossible one. In my head, I say it a lot.
I don't even know who you are.
I don't even know who you are. You should have aimed for the head. Yes, fantastic. Side note: he was made to be the protagonist of the first one. I forget what the name of the part one was. Infinity Wars.
Infinity War where he won at the end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was designed. The story was designed around Thanos being the protagonist. I've had people argue with me, even coworkers, like, no, he's the antagonist. I said, yes, he's the antagonist of the show, the series, but he's the protagonist of that movie. They are following his arc and watching all of his adversaries and antagonists get in his way and him overcoming these obstacles. He was designed explicitly by the directors to be the protagonist of that movie. Doesn't mean he's a good guy, just means he's a protagonist.
Right.
That's a totally different topic. Back on the games though. I'm curious what's going to happen in 2023 or 2024, and if any of all this bad publicity. People kind of got accepted things a little bit in COVID because of COVID. Development slowed, a bunch of stuff. We're getting out of that. Everyone's going back with moderate regulations or no regulations, and business is flowing as usual. 2023 is really a make it or break it year, I feel, for gaming. Like, they don't have an excuse for some of this stuff anymore. These practices, these stories, headlines, repeatable scenarios with the same companies or franchises or whatever shouldn't keep happening for another couple years. Like, it's already been 3, 5, 10 years for some of these things. I think 2023 is going to be a big, in the gaming sphere, a big year for where game development and stuff goes from here. Like, before the pandemic, like 2019 or 2020 and stuff, indie games were that was the year for indie games and stuff. That's when things flourished. All these amazing titles came out. Now in 2023 and 2024, I'm assuming a lot of remakes or continued series in franchises is what's coming out up ahead. And that really, I think, sets the tone and sets the pace for what to expect for, I guess, the next 5-10 years of development, because everyone's kind of looking at this post-pandemic time like, what are we doing? Now that we have full range of resources again, what are we doing?
Yep. Meanwhile, the developers of Fall Guys are like, hold my beer.
Yeah, they're just having fun. Do you think that's the same way, Platypus, or think it's something different? You think this is just a whatever year again?
Well, a lot of stuff is supposed to come out this year, so it'll be pretty telling of what's to come, and I don't know. I mean, I wish the gaming industry and its fans the best, because holy fuck, we could use like some good games and good luck right now after just
we need a collective therapy session.
Yeah.
One giant Zoom meeting.
Exactly. And like I said, like especially like the main games coming out this year, I just pray to God that it just doesn't fall in the same trap.
I'm hoping they get in line, because over the last few years, with all these headliners of highly anticipated games falling short, I don't think they want to do it again for another year because they've seen what it happens, and they've seen like now with layoffs and stuff, like these whole companies are just like removing so many people and resources. I'm hoping they take the initiative to be like, well, we're gonna push it back another month if they have to for 2023.
Right. Like I'm totally
Everyone in the
fine with that.
community is okay with it if the game comes out stable and fine. Doesn't even have to be, game of the year. Just needs to be worth the time and money. Otherwise, you're going to have this, like the people that are hardcore anticipating it are going to be anticipating it if it got extended another month or two. That's not going to change. Period.
Yeah.
They'll complain, but like
Exactly.
they're still going to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, like Metroid Prime. Like I played 3. I was playing 3, I think, when we were in like 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So, it hurts that I can't play the 4th one now, but I'd rather they take their time to actually just make it correctly.
Yeah.
I mean,
and just communicate. Just communicate. Be like, we don't like it. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, like I literally have grown a beard waiting for this game to come out, but it's cool.
Yeah.
You've grown multiple beards, but yeah.
I mean, at least they're taking the right approach.
I've grown a beard. You've grown multiple beards, yeah. So,
how the fuck do you grow multiple beards? What the fuck? You got beard on your beards?
It's a hobby.
It's a pastime. He's bored.
Does your beard have like fucking biceps or some shit?
Does yours not?
Yes, that's what happens when you get double chins and triple chins. They get their own beards. They start fresh. That's how that works, right?
Oh man,
it's a terrifying thought. Just
Yeah.
imagining being consumed by my beard.
Every fat roll is a new chunk of hair that grows.
Oh God.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah, I guess I will continue to go to the gym in light of this conversation.
In light of this new discovery of anatomy, yeah, I'll start working out again.
Yeah.
Well, this conversation's awesome, but we are kind of veering off, which is fine. But I'm also like, I'm pretty tired.
Yeah.
And I think we covered a lot of good ground on our gaming discussion. I mean, we can always revisit it again.
We've got a lot more specifics we can dive into. The general theme of it, yeah, I wasn't expecting to get a little bit as passionate as I was at some points.
Same here, and there's always going to be games releasing. There's always going to be some great ones. There's always going to be some flops. I mean, we can always revisit and talk about it, and see hopefully if there's an improvement, in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully this year.
Well, anyways, like Platypus was saying, thank you everybody for listening to our rants. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't. Let us know. Follow us on our socials. I'm what is my name? I'm Dean, joined by Platypus and Ari. You guys have any final words before we close this out?
You just called Noodles Ari, but
oh, you're right. Yeah, Noodles. My
you
bad.
Fucking racist.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'll admit it. Yeah. What about it?
We uncovered a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And remember, kids, save your money.
Yeah. Wait till the reviews come out. There you go.